Hello everyone, making a video for the Fluoride Free UK group because the petition has got about over 20,000 signatures, which is great, only after 6 days of being out. And I wanted to just say to everyone, please share that petition widely. It's really important to stop this happening. So I'm in charge of all this water here. It's used to be a quarry here, now it's groundwater. We're in Eternal Lake Nature Reserve in Medway, Kent, and it's owned by my company Osmium Water Technology, which is a water filtration and water technology company. And we've got a cafe here, Pure Planet Cafe. We're doing our thing. So Osmio owns this place now, and Osmio started in reverse osmosis, and that's our product, Osmium Zero. And it's a reverse osmosis that does not connect to anything. It's completely standalone. It's filled up this tank and it leaves some water to empty there, and filters are changed really easily like that, right? So now my company sells distillers, but I wouldn't use it for drinking and cooking. We use them for like this machine, because we take water that's been RO'd and distill it again to make it even purer, to purify it again, let's say, for breathing hydrogen oxygen. That's completely a different conversation. But look, the point is about the group. A lot of people asking questions about distillers, a lot of people using distillers, but I don't, and I'll tell you why. Because a distiller uses 3 kilowatt per hour, so you're going to be using, I don't know, it's probably costing about 12 to 15 pence per litre of distilled water you're making, not to mention the time and the maintenance and the cleaning and all that stuff, right? Plus, you've got dissolved gases and dissolved solids in water, and distillers aren't particularly great for dissolved gases, although they are completely for solids. But you've got to then think about, why would you use a distiller? Because if I wanted 0 parts per million water with very good purity of dissolved gases, I would use a reverse osmosis with not remineralization but deionization resin, same as what the Zero filter jug uses, which is a completely daft product, because you wouldn't use the deionization resin to do all the heavy lifting. You would get through so many cartridges. Instead, you use a reverse osmosis membrane to do that, and use deionization to polish off the remaining TDS, which is, the RO might take care of 90% plus of the TDS, and the deionization gets rid of the other 10%. So you've got 0 ppm and much better filtration for solids. That's why dental practices, kidney dialysis and all these procedures and decon rooms in places don't use distillers, they use reverse osmosis, unless you're a chemistry lab that makes 1 litre a week, you know. Because reverse osmosis is not typically standalone like the Osmium Zero. It's normally installed like that one under there that's doing our coffee machine, right? It has to be installed for that, right? But and we've got the Osmium Fusion there, which is like for tea, and it's installed and it's connected to the drain, which is the problem with reverse osmosis. It's why it got banned in India a year and a half ago, because they're putting too many litres down the drain, because they have a bladder tank and they have this. So if you've got a reverse osmosis with a bladder tank, ditch it. At least get a direct flow, which will give you 1 litre to the tap, 2 litres to the drain. Or if you've got less than 5 people in your house, get an Osmium Zero, because when I have to go and chuck water out, which is about 1 litre in there, I can chuck it on the house plants and give it to this guy and they love it. So you're not wasting any water, but you're getting reverse osmosis, and you're getting hot water. As I said, we use it for tea. So if I want a cup of tea, I will go to this, select 100 degrees and press it, and therefore I'm getting my you hear the kettle fire up in there, and I'm going to get my tea in a minute. So yeah. So look, it's not just a reverse osmosis; it's a kettle. I would never use a distiller for day-to-day purposes. Look how quickly my water's coming, and you see. Now, I'm not using deionization resin. I'm happy with 90% plus of the solids coming out and a lot more of the gases. Most of the things are gases. Fluoride fluorine is a gas. It's a halogen, and it wants to bind and find calcium and other minerals in it. So the methods of fluoride reduction are activated alumina, like the Berkey PF2 filters use, and they're not great because they're A, badly performing, and B, they're exchanging with aluminium hydroxide, which you can argue is not particularly great. Then you've got calcium phosphate, which is like carbon. It absorbs fluoride. So the question is, when does it stop absorbing fluoride? That's the issue with that one. So although it's effective, when does it stop working? So they need regular replacement, at least maybe on average 3 to 6 months, maybe in a fluoridated area. Now, question about Berkey filters like carbon. They might only be good for the first 100 litres for fluoride because they're carbon blocks, basically. But then you've got also vitamin C. Vitamin C has a massively protective effect. I mean, when you interact, this is ascorbic acid, by the way. When you're interacting, this is a shower filter that you just screw on, but when it interacts with chlorine, it just mathematically destroys it, and it would hasn't yet been tested with fluoride. But I know already that there's been studies that have looked at ascorbic acid and vitamin C's protective effects for people that have been fluoride damaged in India, where the water had loads of fluoride in it. So they solved the people's problems with vitamin C. So vitamin C, now, problem with that is it needs to activate above 12 degrees, so it wouldn't work on really cold water. So there's not a filter that we can put in things that would actually work. So it's an interesting one to look at vitamin C for fluoride reduction. So I wanted to share that anyway. So you've got activated alumina, you've got RO membrane, you've got calcium phosphate, RO membrane, and they're probably about in the same league of efficiency. And I suspect vitamin C will stand out as a better additional thing to use, or even a primary thing. So I wanted to share that with the group because I just think it's bad for the environment that everyone's using distillers when you don't need to. You can do RO without any waste, RO with no waste. Happy to answer any questions if people have a real question they want to ask. I think distillers are going to be limited because we've got compounds like calcium fluoride, which will probably stay at the bottom of the distiller, but then you've got fluoride that will atomize. And the question is the carbon at the end of the distiller, if there is any carbon, good enough to take that out? Maybe not. So if you did it, you could do it. If you wanted to get rid of fluoride, don't use a distiller. Use an RO with deionization resin, a direct flow one, because it has to be installed. So the best one is probably like the Osmio HT Plus for that. There's a lab and dental one, which is what laboratories and dental practices use, and to use in their autoclave machines, right? So it's 0 parts per million water, made on tap at 1 litre per minute. Why would you use a distiller at 3 kilowatt per hour? That's my point. But my other point is, please sign this petition. It's so, although it will drive lots of demand for my company, I won't be able to filter it out of my food that I serve in this cafe to customers. So, please stop it. It's going to be, it's going to need everyone to help stop this. So, anyway, yeah, I'll answer any questions if there are any when I can, and I hope all of that makes sense. But thanks very much for listening.